In the far corner of the Milky Way, where even starlight travels slowly, something strange happened. A single signal, cold, sharp, and silent, spread across the dark space like a whisper from an ancient ghost. No one knew where it came from. No one knew who sent it. But one thing was clear. It was not friendly. Humanity received the signal on a calm evening. On Earth, the night sky was peaceful, but inside the United Planetary Council, alarms rang loudly. Scientists rushed from one screen to another. Generals stood frozen as if the air had turned heavier. The message inside the signal was simple but terrifying. Prepare for the test. No other words. No name. No explanation. Only this warning, like a threat wrapped inside silence. The council called an emergency meeting. Dr. Harris, the lead scientist, replayed the signal again and again, but each time it felt more unsettling. The signal carried strange patterns, codes that did not follow any known alien language. Even the AI translators failed to decode it completely. It feels alive, Dr. Harris whispered. General Yin looked at him sharply. Alive? Signals don't live. This one does, the scientist replied. Everyone in the room felt a chill. Humanity had made many friends across the galaxy. They had also made enemies. But never before had an unknown force sent a message that felt like a challenge. The council finally made a decision. They would send their most advanced ship, the Horizon Spear. The Horizon Spear was not the largest ship, nor the strongest. But it had the best human crew, people known not for size but for courage. It was said that this ship did not run from danger. It ran toward it. When the crew received the mission, they did not ask questions. Humans rarely did when their survival was at risk. Captain Arya Vale stood on the deck as the engines warmed. She was young compared to other commanders, but she carried something rare, calmness in chaos. Her eyes were sharp, like someone who had seen too much and feared too little. Beside her stood Lieutenant Mara, the ship's strategist, and Commander Holt, a quiet but powerful man who had survived 3 wars. We don't know who sent the signal, Holt said. Arya nodded. But they want to test us. And we will show them, Mara added, why humanity is never a good target. The ship launched, cutting through darkness like an arrow. As they approached the coordinates of the signal, something strange happened. Stars around them began to flicker, not naturally but as if the galaxy itself was blinking. Is this a trap? Mara asked. Feels like someone is watching us, Holt said. The Horizon Spear slowed near a massive dark cloud, a floating field of unstable energy. Their sensors could barely read through it. Every beeping sound felt heavier than before. This is it, Arya whispered. The source. Suddenly the ship's lights dimmed. The navigation system glitched. The AI voice trembled. A deep vibration passed through the hull, like the ship had entered the breath of a sleeping giant. Captain, we're not alone, Mara said. Arya looked at the front screen, and froze. Shapes appeared inside the dark field. Big shapes. Silent shapes. At first they looked like asteroids floating without movement. But then the ship's sensors cleared for 1 second. They were not asteroids. They were ships. Alien ships. Massive, silent, watching. No engines. No weapons activated. No signals. They simply stared at the human vessel like hunters observing new prey. The crew felt a wave of tension. Something inside the dark field was judging them. Holt spoke quietly. Why aren't they attacking? Because this is not a battle, Arya replied. This is the start of the test. Before she could speak again, the signal reactivated. A new message appeared on every screen inside the Horizon Spear. It was not written in any language, yet every human understood it. Trial 1 begins now. The lights inside the alien ships brightened. The dark field shifted like a living curtain. The Horizon Spear was pulled deeper into the unknown zone. Sirens rang. Engines strained. The crew grabbed their controls. Arya felt her heartbeat slow instead of speeding up. This was what she feared, not war but a silent game made by someone who believed they were above humans. But humanity had never been good at losing. Hold steady, she ordered. No matter what happens, we stay human. The alien ships opened their eyes, glowing circles of energy, aimed directly at the Horizon Spear. The trial had begun, and the galaxy was watching. The Horizon Spear floated inside the dark energy field like a small boat caught in a silent storm. No wind. No explosions. No sound. Only pressure like something huge and ancient was breathing around them. Captain Arya Vale stood firm, her hands tight on the command rail. Every screen flickered with static. The alien ships in front of them were enormous, bigger than anything humanity had ever seen. They looked like mountains carved from metal and darkness, floating without engines, without heat, without life, yet somehow alive. Lieutenant Mara scanned the structures again. "Captain, these ships are wrong." "Explain," Arya said. "They don't match any alien species in our database." Mara's voice shook. "They're too old, too advanced. They feel like relics from before our galaxy even formed." Commander Holt stepped forward, his face pale. "Or they're not ships," he whispered. "Maybe they're judges." The word hit everyone. Judges. Watching. Waiting. Testing. The dark field around them pulsed once. Thump, like a giant heartbeat. A new message appeared on every screen. This time, the translation was clearer, sharper, almost as if the alien system had learned their language. Species 07-3B, Humanity. You stand before the Silent Armada. Your trials begin. No response channel? Arya asked. None, Mara confirmed. They don't want to talk. They want to observe. Arya exhaled slowly. Then let them observe the worst possible species to challenge. The first movement of the Armada. The alien ships shifted, not by moving but by changing space around them. Space bent. Stars warped. The horizon spear's hull groaned like a creature in pain. Then the Armada opened, like giant metallic flowers unfolding. Inside their structures, glowing chambers lit up, circular and bright, linking together like a giant doorway across space. Mara gasped. They're forming a corridor. They want us to go in. Arya stared at the glowing path. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. It felt like the galaxy itself had carved a tunnel for only one species to enter, and maybe never return. Commander Holt frowned hard. Captain, we can still turn back. Arya looked at him, her voice calm but sharp. Turn back to what? A threat like this won't stop because we run. The crew understood. Humanity had always stepped forward when others stepped back. Arya gave the order. Enter the corridor. The horizon spear moved. Inside the corridor of stars. The moment they crossed the threshold, everything changed. The ship's interior lights dimmed. Every sound vanished. Time felt slower. Outside the windows, the corridor stretched like a tunnel made of shifting galaxies. Spirals of blue and silver light twisted around them. Each twist felt like a whisper, as if the universe was telling them old secrets. But something was wrong. The deeper they moved, the stronger the pressure became. It pressed against their minds, like invisible hands trying to push inside their thoughts. Mara grabbed her head. Something's touching my mind, Captain, I don't like this. Holt's voice was tight. They're reading us. Studying us. Then another message blinked on the screens. Observation phase, mind and fear. Arya clenched her jaw. So this is their first test. The corridor shifted again, faster, sharper, almost aggressive now. Suddenly, the stars outside twisted into shapes that looked disturbingly familiar. Earth burning. Cities falling. Humans crying. Or destruction. Nightmares. Holt shouted, they're projecting fear images into the windows. No, Mara whispered. These are not images. These are memories from human history. They're using our own past against us. The crew felt the weight of humanity's darkest moments slam into their thoughts. The first wars. The Great Famine. The climate collapse. The Black Winter. Every scar humanity carried, the corridor showed it to them. Hold your positions, Arya commanded, her voice steady even as the screens shook violently. They want to see if fear controls us. But fear had never controlled humans. Fear had sharpened them. Holt wiped sweat from his forehead. Captain, this test feels like it's designed to break weaker species. Arya nodded. Exactly. And we are not weak. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the window, staring at the burning image of Earth. Show us everything, she whispered. We don't run from our past. The corridor paused. For a moment, everything became silent again. Then the nightmare images faded like dust in sunlight. A new message appeared. Phase 1 complete. Humanity shows unusual resistance. Proceed to Trial 1. The crew exchanged looks. That wasn't the first trial? Mara asked. No, Arya replied. That was just them warming up. The trial arena appears. The corridor opened into a massive empty space, a hollow sphere of light and darkness. It was the size of a small moon, yet completely empty. Then the void shifted. Pieces of broken stars came together. Metallic fragments fused. Energy crackled. Something was forming. Something big. Something mechanical. Something alive. A giant machine, taller than a skyscraper, took shape. Its eyes glowed red. Its body was made of floating plates held together by gravity itself. Holt whispered the only words that made sense. "This is the first trial." Lights flashed. The message came. Trial 1, survive. And then, the machine roared. The giant machine stood motionless for one silent second. Only one. Then its body cracked open with a deep metallic roar, like mountains grinding against each other. Red lines of energy crawled across its armor. Its eyes glowed brighter, locking directly onto the horizon spear. Lieutenant Mara felt her throat go dry. "Captain, that thing is reading us like a book." Commander Holt stepped forward, jaw tight. "It's not a weapon." He swallowed. "It's an examiner." Arya stared at the machine. "Then let's show it what humanity really is." The trial zone around them pulsed, black walls shifting like living shadows. The machine lifted one arm, and the space inside the hollow sphere twisted into a maze of floating structures, glowing doors, spinning cubes, and impossible shapes that broke every law of physics. Mara gasped. "It's building something." "No," Holt corrected quietly. "It's building a test." The message arrived. Trial 1, mind. Escape the maze. The horizon spear's engines hummed nervously. The maze stretched ahead of them like a web of traps, pathways turning in circles, dead ends folding into new shapes, and gravitational pockets that could crush a ship in seconds. Arya took a breath. "Take us in." The ship entered the maze. Inside the maze. The moment they crossed into the labyrinth, everything changed again. Gravity shifted left, then right. Metal plates rose like waves. Lights flickered. Alarms beeped. But there were no enemies. No weapons. No attacks. Just puzzles. Deadly, floating, impossible puzzles. "Look." Mara pointed. "Paths are closing and opening randomly." Holt frowned. "No pattern, no logic. This thing isn't testing our calculations. It's testing our intuition." Arya nodded. "That's why it's a mind test. They want to see if humans think inside patterns, or outside them." A spinning wall moved toward the ship. "Hard right," Arya ordered. The ship swerved and narrowly escaped the collision. The maze shifted again, creating 6 possible paths. Mara's voice shook. "All paths look the same. Captain, which way?" Arya closed her eyes for a second. She listened. Not with sensors. Not with data. But with instinct. She pointed to the third path. "Take that one." Holt glanced at her. "You sure?" "No," Arya said simply. "But it feels right." And humans had always been dangerous because of feeling. The maze reacts. As the ship moved forward, the maze began changing faster. Walls rising like cliffs, floors dropping into darkness, glowing spheres that floated and burst like silent explosions. The machine watching them tilted its head, almost curious. It was studying them, measuring them, learning them. Suddenly the path ahead split into 2. One path stable but narrow. One path wide but unstable. Mara hesitated. "The safe path might trap us later. The wide path might collapse," Holt said. Arya smiled faintly. Exactly the kind of choice humans are good at messing up. Then she made her decision. Wide path. The crew held their breath. The horizon spear sped forward. The wide path collapsed. But Arya had expected it. "Boost up," she shouted. Holt slammed the engine controls. The ship shot upward just as the collapsing path transformed into a rising ramp, launching the horizon spear over the falling pieces like a surfer riding a breaking wave. The maze shuddered. The giant machine watching them leaned forward as if surprised. Mara laughed nervously. "Captain, are we lucky or insane?" Arya smirked. "Both." The final phase of the maze. The maze suddenly compressed into a single, enormous rotating sphere filled with bright blue energy. Inside the sphere were hundreds of thin tunnels spiraling toward a small glowing exit. "That's the end," Holt said. "But it's impossible. No ship can fly through that without being crushed." Arya didn't blink. "Then we don't fly through it." Mara stared at her. "What?" Arya leaned forward. "Reverse engines. Enter backward." "Backward?" Holt shouted. "That's suicide." Arya shook her head. "The maze is reading our forward predictions. It expects us to go inside with a plan. It expects us to choose a path." She pointed at the screen. "If we go backward, the maze cannot predict us. It cannot react to a direction we're not looking at." Holt's eyes widened with realization. The maze is not testing skill. It's testing unpredictability. Mara whispered, amazed, "Human instinct." Arya nodded. "Exactly." She raised her hand. Reverse engines. Full speed. The horizon spear plunged into the sphere backward, spinning tunnels whipping past them like blue lightning. The maze tried to close the paths, but because the ship was facing the wrong direction, the predictive structures miscalculated. Walls missed them by inches. Gaps opened 1 second too late. The maze couldn't keep up. For the first time the alien machine stepped back. Was confused. It didn't understand humans. And that was humanity's greatest weapon. "Captain?" Mara shouted. "We're reaching the exit." "Hold steady," Arya said. The ship burst out of the maze with a blast of white light. Silence returned. Space stabilized. The dark field stopped moving. The giant machine froze completely. Then, slowly the message arrived. Trial 1 complete. Conclusion: humanity shows illogical adaptation. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Proceed to Trial 2. Arya smiled. So the galaxy finally understands. Holt exhaled in relief. "We beat the mind test." "No," Arya corrected softly. "We survived it." She looked at the staring alien machine. "And now, they will test our strength." The maze vanished like smoke blown away by a silent wind. The hollow sphere grew darker, wider, emptier, as if space itself was holding its breath. Captain Arya Vale watched the giant mechanical examiner slowly retreat into the shadows. Its red eyes dimmed, but not because it was shutting down. No, it was waiting. Waiting for the next part of the test. A new message blinked across every screen on the horizon sphere. Trial 2, Strength. Prepare. Commander Holt stepped to the center console, gripping it tightly. "Strength test means a fight," he muttered. "Something is coming." Lieutenant Mara scanned the readings. "Captain, the energy level inside this zone is rising fast. Something big is forming again." Arya nodded calmly. "Let it come. Humanity doesn't fear a fight." The hollow sphere brightened. Lines of blue, red, and silver energy spread across the dark walls like veins. Thunder-like vibrations echoed through the space, deep, growing, powerful. Metal plates appeared from nowhere. Gravity twisted them. Energy bound them. Shape followed shape. Piece after piece. Something enormous was assembling itself. Holt could not look away. "This one is different from the last machine." Mara swallowed. "This one looks built for war." The beast of the trial. The forming structure finally solidified, and the horizon spear's lights flickered as its true form appeared. A gigantic metallic creature, part machine, part living armor. Its body was shaped like a four-legged titan, taller than skyscrapers. Its claws glowed with molten energy. Its head was long, sharp, and armored like a predator built for hunting stars. But the most terrifying were the markings on its chest, ancient symbols from civilizations long dead. Arya whispered, "It's not a guardian." Holt finished the thought. "It's an exterminator." A new message appeared. "Defeat the beast or perish. Survival determines worth." Mara's voice cracked. "Captain, this thing can tear our ship apart in one hit." Arya did not blink. "Then we won't let it hit." The first strike. The beast turned its glowing eyes toward the horizon spear. And then, it moved. Not slowly. Not heavily. No. It moved like a predator that had been waiting 1,000 years to hunt again. The beast lunged. A wave of pulsing red energy followed behind it like a comet tail. "Brace!" Arya shouted. The horizon spear rolled sharply to the left. The beast's claws sliced through the space where they stood a second earlier, creating a tear in reality like space was paper. Holt cursed. "One hit and we're done." Mara fired counter-thrusters. The ship dodged again as the beast's tail whipped forward, smashing a glowing fragment of the trial arena into dust. Arya steadied herself. "This thing is fast, strong. Designed to overpower, not outthink." Holt looked at her. "Then what's the plan, Captain?" Arya stared at the beast. "The same plan humans always use when facing something bigger." She smiled. "We cheat. Playing dirty, the human way." The beast charged again. The horizon spear dived under its body and launched 3 EMP bursts. The bursts hit its legs, sparks flew, but the beast barely slowed. "No good," Mara shouted. "It's absorbing the EMP." The beast spun its body and opened its mouth. A bright core inside its throat began to glow. Holt's eyes widened. "It's charging a beam." Arya pointed upward. "Boost vertical. Now." The horizon spear shot upward just as a massive beam of red plasma burned through space. The blast tore a hole in the arena wall, shaking the entire zone. Mara nearly fell from her seat. That beam could destroy a battleship. Holt's voice grew sharp. Captain, we can't outrun it forever. We need to hit it where it hurts. Arya narrowed her eyes. Then let's find a weak spot. Human observation versus ancient power. The beast turned, its eyes burning brighter. It was learning, adapting, predicting. But so was Arya. She watched the way its armor shifted, how its plates moved, where energy gathered, where it slowed down for just a second. There, Arya whispered, the joints on its back legs. Less armor. Probably where the plates lock. Holt nodded. We hit that and it might fall. Mara gasped. But getting behind it means going right under its attack line. Arya took her seat. That's what humans do. We walk where others fear to stand. She pressed the controls herself. Hold on. The horizon spear dropped into a low glide. Straight toward the beast. Holt gripped the railing. This is insane. Mara whispered. This is human. The counterattack. The beast roared and lifted both arms. Two beams charged at once. Arya twisted the ship sideways. The beams passed so close that the heat sensors screamed. The horizon spear slid under the beast's massive chest. Metal claws scraped the ship's shields, sending sparks across the windows. Now! Arya shouted. Holt fired all rear cannons at the joint. Direct hit. Explosions burst across the beast's leg. The armor shattered. The beast screamed, a mechanical, painful roar that shook the entire arena. It's working. Mara shouted. Not enough. Holt warned. Arya smirked. Good thing humans don't quit halfway. The finishing move, the risk only humans take. The beast stumbled. One leg weakened. Its movement slowed. Arya made the craziest decision yet. Full speed. Ram the damaged joint. Holt looked at her like she had gone mad. Captain, ramming a building would kill us. This thing is a fortress. Arya's voice was calm. If we don't stop it, we die anyway. The horizon spear accelerated. The beast tried to strike, too slow. The ship slammed into the broken joint. Shields bursting with light. Armor cracking. The beast collapsing. With one final roar, the giant machine fell onto its side, shaking the entire trial zone. Silence followed. Then the message appeared. Trial 2 complete. Conclusion: humanity is reckless. Illogical. Relentless. Strength verified. Arya exhaled. Holt stepped back, stunned. We just took down a planet killer. Mara smiled weakly. And we did it while breaking 10 safety rules. Arya looked at the fallen beast. That's how humans fight. Not because we are big. Not because we are perfect. But because when something tries to destroy us. Her voice hardened. We hit back harder. Another message appeared. Proceed to final trial. Trial 3, Heart. Mara frowned. Heart? What does that mean? Arya turned slowly toward the glowing center of the arena. We're about to find out. Commander Rian stood in the center of the command deck, watching the star map shift again. More alien signals appeared, moving fast, forming a pattern, trying to surround humanity's ships. The crew waited for his order, but he only stared at the map, silent. Something in his eyes showed he already expected this. He whispered, "They're scared now. That means they will make mistakes." Outside the ship's massive view window, a formation of glowing blue alien vessels spread across the darkness. Each ship looked sharper, faster, and more aggressive than the last group humanity faced. Their shields pulsed like angry waves, warning every observer that a trap was coming. But humanity did not turn away. They moved forward. Admiral Voss watched everything from the human flagship Aegis Prime. His hands were behind his back, his face calm, but his voice was firm. Let them try. We already passed their test once. We will pass it again. A soft alarm beeped. New data flashed across the screens. Lieutenant Hara said, "Sir, the alien fleet sent a message. They claim humanity is a danger to the balance of the galaxy." Voss gave a cold smile. "They tried to test us. Now that we passed, they fear us." The message from the alien leader appeared. A tall figure, thin like a shadow, with glowing eyes and a voice that echoed like metal. "Humans," it said, "you were supposed to fail our trials. You were supposed to break. But you grew. You adapted. That makes you a threat. Leave this region, or be erased." The crew waited for the Admiral's response. But he didn't answer. He simply turned the message off. The room went silent. Finally Voss spoke. "They think we are like their old enemies. They think we are predictable. They think we will run." He turned toward the crew. "But they do not understand what humanity becomes when challenged. And then the real twist arrived. The sensors detected another anomaly, something massive, moving behind the alien fleet. Rian's eyes widened. Sir, that's not a fleet. It's a superstructure. Something the size of a small moon. The alien ships parted, revealing a gigantic object, smooth, black, and silent. No lights. No glow. No energy readings. It was like a dead planet drifting in the void. But it wasn't dead. Slowly, thin red lines lit up across its surface, one by one, like a giant machine waking from sleep. Hara whispered, "What is that?" No human had ever seen such a thing. Even Admiral Voss took one step forward, his eyes narrowing. They brought their judgment engine. The crew froze. The name alone felt heavy. It was legendary among alien species, an ancient weapon older than most civilizations. It had ended wars, erased planets, and forced entire species to kneel. If the Alien Alliance brought this, it meant they wanted to crush humanity completely. The judgment engine turned, locking onto the human fleet. Red light grew brighter. The screens flashed warning symbols. Hara shouted. Power spike increasing. That thing is charging a mega beam. Rian clenched his fists. They want to show us our place. But Admiral Voss stood tall. Then we will show them theirs. He activated the ship-wide comm channel. All human ships, prepare for Operation Rise Flare. The crew stared in shock. Rise Flare was never used before. It was the most dangerous, most experimental, and most mysterious technology humanity ever created. Not even the crew knew its full power, only the top commanders did. Some whispered, some feared, some hoped. Because Rise Flare was not a weapon. It was evolution. Human ships shifted formation. Panels opened. Energy cores ignited with a soft blue flame. Lines of light ran across the hulls like veins waking inside a living creature. The alien fleet panicked. Messages poured in, angry, confused, desperate. What are the humans doing? That energy signature is unknown. Stop them before they activate it. Alien ships charged forward, firing missiles, beams, and pulses. Humanity didn't fire back. They kept charging Rise Flare. The judgment engine glowed bright red, moments away from releasing a devastating blast that could vaporize half the human fleet. Rian whispered, "If this fails, we lose everything." Admiral Voss didn't blink. "It won't fail." The judgment engine fired. A beam of red destruction shot through space, a straight line of pure annihilation. It hit the human fleet. Light swallowed everything. But then, something impossible happened. The human ships didn't break. They didn't burn. They didn't fall. Instead, the red energy bent around them, splitting like water around a stone. Rise Flare activated. And for the first time, the galaxy saw something new. Humanity glowed. Ships became brighter, stronger, surrounded by a shimmering field that looked alive, bending reality itself. Weapons transformed. Engines roared. Hull strengthened. Humanity changed. Humanity evolved. Humanity rose. And Admiral Voss spoke the line that would echo in history. "You wanted a test? Fine. Now watch the apex of the stars rise." The alien fleet froze. Because for the first time, they were the ones afraid. The alien fleet hung frozen in space. None of their captains spoke. None of their weapons fired. Even their engines stopped moving. Every ship, big or small, watched the human fleet glowing with strange blue light, bending the deadly red beam like it was nothing. They had never seen anything like this. They had never imagined anything like this. On the command deck of Aegis Prime, the blue light flowing through the hull shone across every face. It felt warm, alive, powerful. Commander Rian slowly moved his hand toward the window, as if trying to touch the energy outside. "This is not technology," he whispered. "This is something more." Admiral Voss did not turn away from the starfield. His voice was calm but strong, carrying through the whole ship. "Rise Flare has awakened. Now we show them why humanity survives." Outside, the glowing field around the human fleet pulsed. Once, twice, like a heartbeat. And then something strange happened. Every alien ship began receiving a signal. Not from their commanders. Not from their alliance. But from the judgment engine itself. A message. A warning. Unknown power detected. Threat level rising. Judgment recalibrating. Human fleet no longer predictable. Alien commanders shouted across their channels. "What does it mean? Why is the engine warning us?" This was supposed to destroy the humans, not fear them. But no one could answer. Because even their ancient machine did not understand what humanity had become. The judgment engine glowed deeper red, shifting into a new pattern. Its entire surface opened like a giant mechanical flower, revealing thousands of dark nodes inside, each one a weapon capable of tearing a cruiser in half with a single shot. Lieutenant Hara whispered, "It is preparing for full power. No restraint this time." Commander Rian clenched his jaw. "So they finally accept us as a true enemy?" Admiral Voss shook his head. "No, not an enemy. A rival. Something that can stand beside them, or above them." He walked to the holographic console and placed his hand on it. "Requesting full rise flare sync," he said. The crew gasped. Full sync had never been attempted. Partial sync made human ships powerful. Full sync, no one knew the result. The system responded immediately. "Warning, full sync will change vessel structure. Warning, crew may experience sensory shock. Warning, risk unknown." Voss closed his eyes. "I accept." The moment he said those words, the entire ship trembled. Blue energy surged down the corridors, through the walls, through the engines. Every human vessel connected to the network felt the same surge. And then, a flash. For a single breath, reality bent. The ships did not simply become stronger. They shifted. Their armor moved like a living shell. Their fuel lines pulsed like veins. Their energy cores beat like hearts. Rise Flare did not just evolve the ships. It merged with them. Humanity's fleet became something between metal and life. Something the galaxy had never seen and could not name. Even the crew felt it. Rian gasped as a wave of energy washed through him, like he was sharing senses with the ship itself. "I can feel everything," he whispered. "The stars, the movement, the enemy." Hara held the console tightly. "It's like the ship is talking to us." Voss's voice remained steady. "Good. Then listen closely. We are not alone in this. The fleet moves as one now." Outside, the transformed human ships aligned in a perfect geometric pattern. Something no alien could predict or calculate. Blue lines connected each ship like threads of light, forming a glowing web across the battlefield. The alien ships panicked. They merged. The humans merged with their machines. "That's impossible. Retreat. Retreat now." But it was too late. The judgment engine roared to life, releasing a massive shockwave across the battlefield. Space rippled. The stars blurred. Every alien ship shook violently. Yet the human fleet did not move. The shockwave flowed around them like water around stone. Voss raised his hand. "Begin counterwave." The human fleet answered. Not with missiles. Not with lasers. Not with conventional weapons. Instead, the blue rise flare energy stretched outward, forming a vast wave of shimmering light that rolled toward the alien armada. It did not burn. It did not explode. It overpowered. Alien shields collapsed instantly. Their engines flickered out. Their weapons died in silence. The entire enemy fleet was left floating helplessly, powerless in a single moment. Inside the alien flagship, their commander stared at the readings. This cannot be. They were weak, they were new to the stars. How did they do this? A silent voice answered him from the judgment engine's core systems. "Humanity has surpassed predicted limits. Recalculate class. Designation, Apex-level species." The alien commander trembled. "They have risen too fast. We created a monster." But outside, Admiral Voss looked calm, almost sad. "We didn't become monsters," he whispered. "We simply became what the galaxy forced us to become." The judgment engine's nodes glowed once more. It prepared for a final, unstoppable blast, the kind that could erase a star. Rian shouted, "Sir, it's charging the ultimate strike." Voss lowered his head once. "Then this battle." He opened his eyes, burning bright with resolve. "Will decide the future of the galaxy." The screen filled with red light. The final strike was coming. And the human fleet did not retreat. They accelerated straight toward it,